Okay, so we are here at my Sonic Movie 6 idea video. So let's get started. In case you haven't seen it, I recommend clicking on the card above to the previous video. So without further ado, let's dive in. So our story would start off with Team Sonic, which would be Sonic, Tails, Knuckles and Amy, entering out of a ring portal from Green Hills and heading towards a pyramid. As they enter on inside, it's all futuristic, and Tails explains that they need to not only find Robotnik's lab, but to find a Robotnik master computer in order to access his database. And Knuckles is a bit creeped out by this place, as there's no sort of power here, or, well, anyone here could be haunted by ghosts. And Amy admits that it could be a trap, because they don't know anything about this place. Sonic is also confused as well, as Eggman had time to build all of this in a pyramid. Just then, Sonic immediately feels a little down, and Amy asks him what's wrong. Sonic says that this is all his fault, and that if he hadn't destroyed the Time Stone, then none of this would have happened. However, Amy mentions that it wasn't his fault, and that they're going to fix this. Shadow and his team are heading out to distract the Time Lord, to distract the Time Eater. And that, yeah. However, they accidentally trigger a trap which activates a whole bunch of egg drones and buzz bombers and moto bugs. And this leads into a really cool fight scene where we get to see all of the team's great skills. We would see them just smash the bots up, destroying everything about them. Sonic would spin dash into a couple of them using a homing attack. Knuckles would of course summon the Flames of Disaster, crushing a whole bunch of cool ones. Tails would reprogram some of them to attack others, and Amy would smash the moto bugs, sending them crashing into a wall. However, they also begin to notice that there is also an egg robo, who would start firing down at them, and then a massive moto bug appears, ready to crush them. And as they begin to avoid all of the different traps laid out throughout the pyramid, Tails finds the computer and tries to analyze it. As he looks on through, he asks the others to buy him some time. And Knuckles, Sonic and Amy do that just fine. They manage to clobber on through all of them. All of the different badniks. However, as the fight comes to an end, Tails quickly realizes that this computer, well, it got destroyed by one of the badniks, so they'll need to find a different base. Meanwhile, somewhere else, Silver would be walking into a town, obviously on the walk, reflecting on what he's done and how he's helped his master be free, and it's also caused the doom of the past. He's the reason why his future is like this. And Silver begins to reflect more on the things that he used to enjoy in his time, things that made him happy. And there was quite a lot of things, but the big thing was waking up every day to see the flowers, to see on how pretty they are. But now he can't, because there's no soil, there's no rain, it's just fire, and just everything's destroyed. This future was created, was just demolished by the Time Eater, who is now determined to destroy everything that, well, the world has created, everything all about time. And now Silver begins to feel that he has to make this right. And he knows that he will make this right. he will have to take down the Time Eater. As he begins to charge up his powers, he then looks one last time around the village, as he knows to himself that he's going to need help if he's going to take down the Time Eater. And so, with a charged up energy, he blasts away, flying off to hopefully find something that might actually help, as he remembers about Sonic. And so, Silver flies off, and he flies through the skies, seeing how beautiful everything is. And yeah. Meanwhile, Team Sonic is still battling badniks in the factory area, but they're walking out of the factory. And, well, Tails is a bit disappointed that they couldn't find a location for Robotnik. Knuckles suggests that Robotnik is dead, as nobody could have survived that. But Sonic mentions that he survived that blast from the Ark, and he of course survived the fall of the death of that massive robot. So there could most likely be a way Robotnik can survive. Tails also mentions that he's also incredibly smart, as he brings up Robotnik's profile, which he apparently can do. And as the rest of them look around to see if there's any information, any kind of hint that Robotnik is still alive, they're a bit kind of stuck. And Amy begins to smash all the things around them to hopefully see if something will activate. However, they begin to talk about other bases. Tails mentions he has no idea about Robotnik's operations or his empire, and that they don't even know where to search. However, Knuckles points out that there was a base that Robotnik did have that was in Green Hills. Meanwhile, Shadow, Rouge and Omega would be battling the Time Eater, who's out in the forest, turning everything into white space, just absorbing all the time. They're hopefully buying Sonic and his team some time. Shadow would be using some of his Chaos Spears to fight back against the Time Eater, who would not be taking it too well. He would be firing out many different abilities. Meanwhile, with Rouge and Shadow, she would question Sonic's plan entirely. But Shadow has faith in Sonic, as he thinks that it could possibly work. But he's not too sure, and if his plan doesn't work, then Shadow's going for plan B and taking off his inhibitor rings and blowing the thing up. Rouge mentions that that will kill him, but Shadow says, at least then the planet will be safe. And then I can see Maria again. To which Rouge did some research on Shadow when they got recruited. Meanwhile, Omega is just firing at the Time Eater, and it claims that the energy must be destroyed. However, Team Dark decides to move the Time Eater somewhere else, to hopefully avoid it from attacking. The Time Eater claims that all they're doing is just wasting his time, and that this will be the final end. Meanwhile, Team Sonic opens a ring portal to Green Hills and approach the Mean Bean, hoping it's still there. They see a cop car outside, which it's Wade's, by the way, and they would enter on through. They hope that everything's all fine in here, and that Robotnik may have kept the equipment and Gun didn't take it away. As they enter on through, they see a see Agent Stone, which the group are quite surprised, even Knuckles calling him the Goat Milker. But Agent Stone simply repeats his message. Intruders alert, do not enter. And Sonic says that it seems quite robotic. And Amy discovers that Stone is not actually there. It's a hologram, mostly designed to keep the operation still a secret. Now only a code word can activate all of the defenses. Knuckles remember hearing what Stone said, which was latte with steamed Austrian goat milk. And the base opens up, revealing all of the different weapons and badniks. And the massive computer. Tails then gets to work locating anything about Dr. Robotnik on the Egg Network, on the Eggnet as it's called. And Tails and Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails all look around to see anything possibly that could play a big role in the big battle that they'll have with the Time Eater. However, Amy accidentally activates a switch which turns on the defensive badniks in the area. Just when it looks like they're about to be badnik meets, surprisingly, the doors open up and Silver appears, throwing the badniks aside. He says to Sonic that decisions have changed and that he wants to help them, and Sonic allows Silver to help them. As then they throw a ring portal and discover Robotnik's location on a tropical island, and the group would head on through, looking all around. Silver would be amazed at all of the beauty right here, and Sonic would ask, "I've seen your future. I'm sorry." Silver says it's okay. He just wants to go home. It's as simple as that. Knuckles mentions that he also felt this as well. That he lost everything, but he found friends. He found a family. And Silver can too. And Silver thinks about it, as he knows that's what he wants. Just then they get ambushed by a whole bunch of badniks in the jungle, and a massive tank truck approaches. And as they see, it looks like all is lost by motorbugs, buzz bombers, and of course, crab meats and the egg drones. They all surround the heroes. Silver prepares to use his telekinesis and begins to smash a couple of them. However, someone steps out of the tank and reveals themselves. Who is Agent Stone? The real one. Knuckles claims it's the Goat Milker, the real Goat Milker, and Agent Stone tells them to relax. They're not here to fight. And that Sonic says that they want to see Robotnik, and Stone says it's not a good time to see the Doctor, but I'll take you to him. And they get into the tank and drive to, well, where he is, the Death Egg ruins. It's still intact, just more damaged. The group are shocked at seeing the Death Egg, which Silver said he saw that in his timeline. But Stone says, please, join us in the station. Meanwhile inside, in the lab, Robotnik is watching his soap operas, before commenting on how much of anything is important. That the time manipulation has made anything possible. Plenty of time, plenty of stuff, plenty of manipulation of the waste. Before turning around only to see Sonic and the gang. He'd ultimately scream out loud, throwing his food off of his chair. And he would be surprised and shocked. And, well, so would Team Sonic, as well as Silver. Stone tells them that they have visitors, and they've got a good reason for being here. And the defences on the island are working good. Robotnik is not happy to see Sonic, saying that this is his island home. This is Robotnik Hawaii, a place of sanctuary, wonder, and perfection, with no anthropomorphic nightmares, where he can chill while drinking coconut lattes and mushrooms and all sorts of stuff while playing congas on his big fat belly. And the group are just disgusted by this, especially Tails, who is surprised that he's still alive, and that Eggman grew hair and he's got, well, even fatter than before. And he doesn't seem to be attacking. To which Robotnik states that, well, I've given up being evil. There's no point. Once you absorb a powerful time relic, you then have all the time in the world to think of your actions. I did a little reflecting, and I think I'm better off here, in my own sanctuary, with all my machines to run me, and an empire to control from the seat of my chair. However, Stone interrupts, saying, Doctor, we have a problem. And he says that something has been attacking his bases and threatening his empire. To which Robotnik ultimately jokes about it, saying, there's nothing important attacking it, no one can, nobody knows its location, we deleted all the files from Gun, everything's gone. Stone says yes, but there is a monster out there destroying your bases and technology. To which Robotnik starts laughing at that monstrosity idea before he finds out who is responsible for it, seeing a picture of the Time Eater on one of the drones. Robotnik says that he will destroy this creature with all of its intentions and use his technology to destroy it and become a true mastermind. He then reprograms some of the drones to follow the signal of where and to track the Time Eater, finding him to be in an unknown location. Tails mentions that they should team up with Robotnik, and Sonic agrees. But Robotnik says, I'll work with you on one condition. And Sonic gives Robotnik a quill, and he licks it, and he tells Stone to initiate dress up. And Stone shaves off Robotnik's hair, which grew back, and Robotnik steps into a machine that puts on his iconic coat. And as the group wait outside, they then see Robotnik stepping out, looking super cool in his suit. And so they begin to discuss a plan in mind. They had this idea. Tails suspects that since he looked at the Death Egg's, well, blueprints, he discovered that the laser cannons on them, on the laser eyes, through the reactor, could possibly generate enough energy to wipe out the Time Eater. However, Robotnik mentions that when the Death Egg crashed, the reactor was badly damaged, and it's nowhere near the capability of flying again. And, well, there's nothing that they can do, as Supersonic is out of the equation since they can't do anything about it, as the Time Eater could essentially just take away that power, and they don't want to use it again. However, However, Robotnik has an idea, as after seeing Silver's ESP, that they use Silver to power up Station and to use his energy to destroy the Time Eater once and for all.